Welcome to the World History, where we uncover the hidden brilliance that shaped our civilization. In this episode, we dive into ancient China's greatest inventions, beginning with the very sparks that ignited a technological revolution. Centuries ahead of its time, our journey begins in a roaring forge during the Tang Dynasty. An ancient Chinese blacksmith, surrounded by glowing furnaces and ringing metal, shapes the very tools that would build cities and empires. Iron tools were more than weapons. They were the backbone of Chinese agriculture, construction, and daily life. With fire, force, and precision, these artisans forged the first steps toward a modern world. Now, imagine a lodestone resting gently on silk maps. This is no ordinary stone. It's the first compass. The magnetic compass, born in ancient China, revolutionized navigation. Sailors gathered around, planning bold expeditions guided not by stars but by Earth's magnetic pull. This single invention rewrote the rules of travel, allowing explorers to venture far beyond familiar shores. But what if the Earth itself rebelled? In the Han Dynasty, the genius Zhang Heng presented an invention that amazed the imperial court: the first seismograph. Intricately shaped like a bronze vessel adorned with dragons and toads, it could detect earthquakes in distant provinces. When a tremor struck, a dragon would drop a ball into a waiting toad's mouth, indicating the quake's direction. This wasn't myth, it was science, centuries before its time. As we move forward, we find ourselves by a riverbank where a man named Sai Lun revolutionizes human communication. He combines mulberry bark, hemp fibers, and water to create the world's first true paper. This image captures that historic moment, a quiet revolution where bark becomes knowledge and trees become memory. In a world of stone and silk, paper was a miracle. Next, in a candlelit chamber, we see calligraphy brushes glide across sheets of handmade paper. Delicate scrolls lie beside inkstones and writing tools. This moment is more than beautiful, it's transformative. The birth of writing on paper allowed scholars, poets, and leaders to preserve ideas across generations. China became not just a land of invention, but a cradle of wisdom. And finally, the printing press roars to life in the Song Dynasty. Workers align carved wooden blocks, press inked characters to paper, and mass-produce knowledge for the first time in history. Movable type turned learning into lightning, swift, unstoppable, and widespread. Books that once took months to copy were now printed in hours, empowering education, governance, and culture. Our chapter opens in a shadowy Taoist lab, where ancient alchemists experiment with strange powders, chasing the elixir of immortality. But by accident, they stumble upon something far more explosive: gunpowder. This ultra-realistic image captures the glow of phosphorus, sulfur, and charcoal as they ignite in a burst of light. In their quest for eternal life, they created a force that would forever change warfare, celebration, and chemistry. Now, step into the heat of a Tang Dynasty battlefield. Soldiers raise flaming arrows skyward, launching them with terrifying precision. Fire lances roar, smoke thickens the air. The image is stunning. The world's first gunpowder-based weapons used in live combat. This wasn't just a new weapon. It was a new era. Ancient Chinese warfare had entered a dimension unseen in the rest of the world. Watch now as a massive trebuchet prepares to launch. Engineers work together, adjusting ropes and stone weights, aiming flaming projectiles at distant fortresses. The siege engine, a marvel of balance and brute force, made China's defenses almost impenetrable. This moment reminds us that Chinese invention was as much about protecting peace as it was about asserting power from the battlefield. We return to the sea, where a majestic junk ship slices through turbulent waters under moonlight. At its core, a compass points true north, guiding the vessel through dark oceans. Sailors brace against wind and storm, trusting in the invention that turned the tides of global exploration. This image captures courage, navigation, and science all in one breathtaking frame. Now meet the great Admiral Zheng He, standing tall before a massive map. He plans expeditions that would stretch as far as Africa. Behind him, enormous treasure. Ships are prepared for launch. This ultra-realistic scene is a tribute to China's golden age of naval dominance. where exploration wasn't just ambition, it was reality. On land, we witnessed the brilliance of directional technology. The south-pointing chariot, a wooden cart powered entirely by gears, moves across dusty roads, its pointer always facing the same direction. No magnetism, no magic. Just pure mechanical genius. This invention demonstrated not only precision, but the power of applied science in everyday travel. Let's pause at a riverside farm, where a chain pump turns tirelessly, lifting water into rice paddies. Farmers in conical hats guide its wooden paddles, irrigating crops even in dry seasons. With simple engineering, China tamed its toughest terrain. This was farming reimagined, efficient, sustainable, revolutionary. Close by, in golden fields, an iron plow carves through rich soil. Pulled by a sturdy water buffalo, guided by skilled hands, this invention doubled agricultural output. It turned deserts into breadbaskets and famine into harvest. Ancient China's food systems were ahead of their time, built with purpose. Powered by innovation. And beside a river, a mighty wooden water wheel spins. Villagers work in rhythm, grinding grain and drawing water with ease. The wheel, turning endlessly, symbolizes China's cycle of innovation, simple, strong, and perpetual. Our journey begins on a high stone platform under a sky lit with stars. Ancient Chinese astronomers gaze upward, turning massive bronze armillary spheres with precision. These complex instruments didn't just map stars, they tracked time, predicted eclipses, and guided farming cycles. With every rotation, the cosmos became a little less mysterious, and a little more measurable. Now we revisit the genius of Zhang Heng, but this time in a moment of honor. The emperor's court watches in awe as he unveils his seismoscope, dragons holding balls over toads, ready to mark the pulse of the earth. This wasn't only a scientific marvel, but also a political safeguard. Natural disasters could now be predicted and aid dispatched quickly. It was science in service of society. In a candle-lit study, a mathematician carefully arranges bamboo strips, solving equations by firelight. His tools are simple, his ideas profound. From early algebra to geometry, ancient Chinese mathematics laid foundations used even today. This image captures the power of pure intellect, when numbers become a language that explains the world. Next, we enter a lively marketplace where a family uses an abacus to calculate a silk trade. The clack of beads, the flick of fingers, this was mental arithmetic at lightning speed. Long before digital calculators, the abacus turned commerce into a precise science, and merchants into mathematicians. Deeper into the city, we find silk workers spinning threads in a royal workshop. The texture, the shine, the skill, all captured in this ultra-realistic image. Silk wasn't just fabric, it was wealth. It connected China to Rome, Persia, and beyond. Every thread was a link in the world's first global economy. Beside kilns glowing with heat, artisans sculpt and paint porcelain vases with divine detail. These weren't just household items, they were treasures. Porcelain, smooth and strong, became a Chinese signature, admired and imitated across continents. In a peaceful healing chamber, a doctor applies acupuncture needles along a patient's body. Charts of meridians hang beside jars of herbs. Medicine here wasn't just about curing the body, it was about restoring balance to life. Traditional Chinese medicine combined observation, intuition, and centuries of wisdom. We enter a richly scented apothecary, packed with drawers and jars of dried roots and exotic plants. Ginseng, cinnamon, and goji berries, nature's cures organized with precision. This was not superstition. This was one of the world's oldest, most complex medical systems. Even hygiene saw innovation. Here, we see the world's first toothbrush, a bamboo stick tipped with stiff hog bristles, lying next to ceramic wash bowls. Cleanliness and grooming were part of health and honor, practiced long before the modern toothbrush emerged. Outside, children laugh as silk kites take flight, dancing with the wind over quiet villages. These weren't just toys, they were symbols of freedom, creativity, and even military surveillance tools. The sky wasn't the limit. It was a canvas. As night falls, a puppeteer tells stories with shadows cast on silk screens. The audience watches, mesmerized. This is shadow puppetry, one of China's oldest forms of theater, blending storytelling, art, and light in perfect harmony. In a tranquil garden, a scholar writes poetry on bamboo slips, surrounded by flowing water and rustling leaves. The brush glides in rhythm with thought, a scene of pure introspection and cultural pride. Here, philosophy, nature, and beauty become one. Now imagine a collage of all these inventions: paper, compass, gunpowder, seismograph, silk, medicine, framed together in one powerful image. These weren't just ancient tools. They were the DNA of civilization. A time lapse shows their evolution from crude beginnings to refined brilliance across centuries. China didn't just invent things, it reinvented them again and again. And finally, a cinematic close. The words "Ancient China's Genius" emerge in golden glow, surrounded by scrolls, gears, brushes, and silk. This wasn't just a golden age, it was a legacy that still lives within everything we use today.